welcome to the Teapot Reads. My name's Sam. I'm the Teapot. This is what I'm currently reading, and I'm so happy to see you. Hello and welcome, and as you can probably tell from the title of this video, this is going to be me going through all the series on my shelves that I'm in the middle of. And like currently reading at one point or another. I really wanted to do this so I could like mentally gather how many series I'm in the middle of and like slap myself on the wrist, I guess, for being in the middle of so many things, but also so that I could like at some point do an updated video and see which series I've continued on and completed since then. I personally don't mind being in the middle of a bunch of series. It's not something that bothers me. It's more just I don't want to be losing track of them, because I think what happens is if I get too far away from a series, if I stop in the middle, I forget details that are important and then have to kind of go back and start over. So I just kind of, wanted to get a vibe on where I am with series. And I am going to be keeping track in my notebook. I have a couple things I'm going to be keeping track for if the series is completed, like completely published, and I own all of the books, or no, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should do, I think what I'll do is if the series is completed, and I think I'll just do if the series is completed, published, because I don't think I need to know that I own all of them. I don't think that'll change anything. And then I want to also track if the series is ongoing publication and whether I am not caught up to the publication point or if I am caught up. So ongoing series, it'll have like those two options. In addition to all this, if it's like a shared universe book, because there are some like fantasy series especially that are just fucking huge. So for example, Mistborn has now technically 7 books, because you have the original trilogy and then Wax and Wayne, which is 4. I would consider that like one long universe. So I would say, oh, I'm not caught up on Mistborn, which I'm not, spoiler alert for a minute from now. But they're also technically part of the Cosmere, and I'm not going to count the Cosmere as a series because I don't think there's like a right way to read those books. I think like similarly, Sarah J Maas's books are all kind of connected like vaguely right now, so I wouldn't count them as a universe. They're like sitting in the same universe, but they aren't really, you don't have to read all of them to have like a finished story. It would just be a more complete story. Anyway, I hope that made sense. So yes, so I'm going to be keeping track of series that are completely published that I'm in the middle of, series that I am in the middle of because they are ongoing, and then within that whether I'm caught up to where they are at this point or if I'm not. And then book series that I'm in the middle of, like a bigger series. I feel like those don't matter as much. It's just sort of a caveat, because you can be part of a series that is all published and I'm not caught up on, and part of a bigger universe that I haven't read every single book of, if that makes sense. So we're going to start here. You're also, if you watched my bookshelf tour, you're going to notice that the bookshelves look a little different. I love to reorganize them. I don't think the content has changed too drastically, because I've actually been able to curb quite a bit of buying, although you will see some newer books on here as well. And it will probably go through several more iterations of organization, but I am really happy with how it looks right now. So, and I'm not going to be counting classics because I don't think I'm actually in the middle of any classic series. I like looked through it and I didn't see anything, although you can check out my classics collection tour. I just posted that. And I'm not going to be including manga either because I just don't want to. That sounds terrible, but I think I need to just sit down and like look at manga in a different light and really consider what series I want to continue with, and that I'm going to make a note because that might also be an interesting video. Let me know if you'd be keen on that. Okay, but let us just get started. And I think we'll start all the way up there. Hi. All the way up there we have the Austin Ard series. I think the only series I have on here are Austin Ard and The Old Kingdoms by Garth Nix, which you'll see in a couple different places. So I have read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. I have not read any of the novellas, nor have I read the new series. I want to, which is called The Last King of Austin Ard, I believe. I want to wait for all those books to be out. So I have finished Memory, Sorrow, Thorn, but I am in the middle of a shared universe because they directly tie into each other. But I haven't started Last King of Ostenar, so not in the middle of that. As for Old Kingdom, I have only read Sabriel, but I fell in love with this book so much, is why there's like a million copies on my shelf. So I am in the middle of that series, and I think we can say it's complete. I don't think he's like said no to writing more books in that universe, but I don't think it's like something he's going to do like right now. I think I want to reread Sabriel when I return to it. And I also, if you remember from my bookshelf tour, or if you're noticing it now, I have them in chronological order. I think it'd be really fun to read the series that way. The other series, The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi, I have read, so I'm caught up, but it is it's an ongoing series. Stormlight Archives, I'm in the middle of it. I'm probably going to have to reread Way of Kings for like the 4th or 5th time. I do not love that book, but I just always forget things. So ongoing, not complete. Elantris right now is complete, and I think he said it's going to be a series, but there's no immediate plan, so I'm not going to count it. And then Tress I read, but that's not a series. Warbreaker, kind of in the same boat as Elantris, and I haven't read it anyways. I've read Farseer. Okay, we're coming down here. So I'm reading the Golden Fool trilogy now, and I just finished, was that what it's called? No, the Tawny Man trilogy. I'm reading this trilogy now. I just finished Golden Fool. I have to read Fool's Fate. So I'm in the middle of a complete series, in the middle of a, we'll say it's complete for now, although if you saw on Twitter, someone asked Robin Hobb what a particular character, I know a little bit about what happens later in the series, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you if you don't, what a particular character is up to, and Robin Hobb just gave like a winky face. So maybe she's writing more. I really, really hope so. So I'm going to say though, it is complete, or that doesn't matter. It's part of a shared universe I'm in the middle of. I'm confusing myself. And I have not read Twin Crowns, so I haven't started that series yet. And I'm gonna pull out some of these so we can see there's another row behind here. I don't know if there's anything I've started. We have Grace of Kings, but I haven't started that, or Blood Heir, or Goblin Emperor. Oh, the Gilded Ones. I've read the Gilded Ones. I don't have the second book. So it's an ongoing series. I'm not caught up with a publication though. Okay. So there's one. I've read the Daevabad trilogy. There's another copy of Twin Crowns. And there's Mistborn. So I have read the original trilogy, but I've only read one book in the Wax and Wayne series. So we're going to say in the middle of a finished, a complete series. And in a shared universe. Okay. And that's it for this shelf. Going down to this shelf. I haven't read any of those books. Going down. Why do you feel a little bad about that? Oh, the Cassandra Rose Clark. I don't know what this series is called. I honestly don't remember. I have read Assassin's Curse and The Pirate's Wish, though. I just haven't read Magic of Wind and Mist. I probably would reread this because it's been a very long time. So we will say, it is complete though. So we'll say that in the middle of a complete series. And then I don't think there's anything else on here. And then I'm going to just dip down and pull anything out. I finished the Melina Marchetta books. Obviously love those. Night Angel. I have the Night Angel trilogy down here, and there is a new one out, Night Angel Nemesis, but I think I'm going to count that as a shared universe book because this did wrap up a story, so we're not going to count it as I'm in the middle of the shared universe is how we're going to do that. Oh, okay. So we have like Caraval, wrangled themselves off too, but Caraval, I've actually read this trilogy. Of course, I loved actual book Caraval so much. I thought this was so good. I feel like I've talked about how much I hate where the series has gone. But I've only read I've only read Once Upon a Broken Heart. Is that the first one? Yeah. So I'm in the middle of an ongoing series, but I'm not caught up because I haven't read book 2, and that's technically a shared universe as well. So there's that. I guess there's some books down here that are going to show up again because I keep some spare arcs down here, so we'll talk about those when we get to them on the proper shelves. I guess if we want to be like super nitpicky, The Lies of Locke Lamora. I've tried reading this a couple times. I do want to give it another shot. I don't know if you'd say I'm like in the middle of the series though, because I've never completed the book. So I guess we'll make a new category for The Lies of Locke Lamora. We can say tried to start. So yeah, we'll make that its own category. And then let's just stay on the ground for a hot second and look at these guys. Oh, I haven't read this book, but I think this summer I'm going to. Are you excited for me? I'm excited for me. Oh, so I've read book 1 in this series, which is the Star-Touched Queen, I believe, but I never read Crown of Wishes. So technically, in the middle of this series, it's a complete series. I would probably reread Star-Touched Queen. Although I think Crown of Wishes, okay, maybe I'm wrong. I'll see if I can like find the information, but I think Crown of Wishes was actually tapped to be a television series on Hulu. Interesting, because I don't think the first one is like involved in that at all, but I do remember when Crown of Wishes came out, people were like, this is so much better than the first one, so that's interesting. Not this one, but the Inheritance trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, or the 100,000 Kingdoms series. I've read the first 2 books. It's a bind up of all 3 plus a novella. I've read the first 2 books. I really like it. My bookmark is even in here still. Book depository. Oh, that's sad. But I haven't read the 3rd one, and I would really like to. I loved the first one actually, and I really liked the ending of the 2nd one. But I think reading them close together, because they're so different, was not a good idea. So I was like, yeah, I'll give myself some space for book 3, and it's probably been like 4 or 5 years. But I do want to continue and finish this trilogy at some point. I don't feel super urgent about it, but I am in the middle of that trilogy, and it is complete. Similarly, we have the Licanius. I have The Shadow of What Was Lost and the 2nd one, which is called The Echo of Things to Come. I have them both in hardcover. I don't think I can get the 3rd book in hardcover anymore, so I might just end up selling the hardcovers and buying like the UK style paperbacks, because I like that style of paperback a lot. We'll see how I'm vibing. But I have read The Shadow of What Was Lost, and I loved this. It's a chunky book. It was a surprisingly quick read when I read it, and I was like, I just remember being constantly shocked and surprised when things were happening. So really loved this one, but I am in the middle of it. And his new series, the first one just came out, and I am actually really excited for that. Separate from the Licanius books, it's called The Will of the Many, and I think it has like Greco-Roman inspiration, so I think that's exciting. But in the middle of that, all the same series here. Oh, well, technically this is a series too, but I don't have any intention to read the 2nd one, I don't think. Maybe. I think I'm worried I would reread it and not love it. We'll say I'm in the middle of it for now. The Rhaenyra Revelations, I actually love the series to death. I've read the original trilogy several times, or it's not trilogy, it's 6 books. It's just bound into 3 books through Orbit. I've read the original ones several times. I tried getting into the prequel series that exist, and I didn't like any of them. So technically in the middle of a shared universe, but I'm not going to continue. So I'm not going to list it on here. I'm complete with these. So technically, but I know I'm not going to continue with those books. If there was a sequel, like a direct sequel to the Rhaenyra Revelations, absolutely. But until that point, no, not interested. That's there. And then on this shelf, Art of Prophecy, I've read it, so it is ongoing, but I am caught up. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I read, but I have not read Heart of the Sun Warrior, so it's on, well, she's writing a third one, but I think it's going to be called Tales of the Celestial Kingdom. I guess we know there's another one in this universe, so we're going to treat it like, no, we'll treat it like a shared universe. So it is complete. I am not caught up, and it is a shared universe that I'm not caught up in. Okay. This is Song of Silver Flame Like Night. I have read it. It is ongoing. So I'm in the middle of it because it's going. Six Crimson Cranes I read, but not The Dragon's Promise. So that duet is done. But I also haven't read Spin the Dawn or Unravel the Dusk, and we have another book in the shared universe coming out. So I'm in the middle of that as well. Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea is a standalone, and I haven't read either of those. This shelf. Belladonna I've read, and that is ongoing, but I'm caught up. House of Salt and Sorrow I've also read, ongoing, and caught up. The next book comes out very soon. I cannot wait. It's about the sister who could see ghosts, which, oh, I'm so excited. Strike the Zither is ongoing, but I am caught up because next book comes out, I think, next year. I already did that. Okay, cool. This shelf. Belladonna again. Bear and the Nightingale. I'm not actually caught up with the Winter Night series, so I've only read the first two technically, although I reread The Bear and the Nightingale recently, so I plan to reread Girl in the Tower and then read Winter of the Witch soon, but it is complete and I am not caught up. And then these are standalones. Okay, we have Cursed Crowns behind here. Nothing I've started. Graceling, I read the original 3. I was reading these around the time Bitter Blue came out. Don't have my original copies anymore, but I have not read Winter Keep or Sea Sparrow, so I think it's complete for now. She hasn't said she's writing anymore, so we'll say series complete, but I'm still in the middle of it. Yes, that's it for there. The Witcher, I've actually started it and not finished it, but it is complete, so ongoing, or not ongoing, but not complete. Game of Thrones, I've not read all of the Song of Ice and Fire. I've read the grand majority of it, though. It is ongoing. I'm a staunch believer that George will finish the books. I think I just need to believe it. But we will say ongoing, not caught up. And then Name of the Wind, which I don't know if you saw. This is coming out like a week after the announcement, I think. But we have a Bast novella. Something just fell. We have a Bast novella coming out. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. But it is ongoing. I am caught up. With the new novella, it makes me want to reread the series even more. I've been like debating it for a while, but I'm like, I think it has to happen like sooner than later at this point. And then Truth Witch is ongoing. I'm not caught up. I think this is one of those series that I love so much. I read the first 2, but it has been so long that I think I need to return to it and give it another sort of go ahead from the start, because there's so many characters and I do not remember all of the dynamics, and there's very complicated like relationships between characters and political things happening, so probably going to reread from the start. And then all the way up top, I think I only have series-wise Sarah J. Maas stuff. That's the top of the next one as well, so we won't have to cover them both. I've read all of ACOTAR. I've read all of Throne of Glass, and I am caught up with Crescent City, so it is an ongoing series I am caught up with. And let's move over. This corner is gonna be a little hard to shelf or to. Ooh, it's probably as close as I can get. So over here we have the Dresden Files. I'm completely caught up. There might be like a short story here or there like floating around that I haven't read, but otherwise completely caught up. Emily Wilde is I'm caught up, but it is ongoing. I fucking loved Emily Wilde. I feel like I don't talk about it enough. It's one of my favorite books I've read this year. I think it was this year I read it. Absolutely insane for it. It's fantastic. The Magicians trilogy. I've read The Magicians like probably 5 times because I love that book. I keep saying, oh, I'm going to finally finish the series this time, but I haven't. So it is a complete series I'm not caught up on. Bone Season, I've only read the first 2, so ongoing, not caught up. Scholomance, I've only read the first one, but that is complete now. I fucking loved the first one, but again, it's been probably like 2 or 3 years, whenever it came out. I read it really close to its release date, and I don't remember all the details that I wish I did. And it was also just really delightful, so I don't see why I wouldn't return to it. Ooh, The Monstrumologist. It's been probably 10 years since I've read this book, and I'm realizing you can't see it. The Monstrumologist. I loved this. It's done. I'm technically in the middle of it, but I almost feel like I haven't read it because it's been so long ago. From Blood and Ash, which is ongoing, and I'm not caught up because it's kind of like terrible, but I keep buying copies. That's it, I think. Okay, getting over here. I've read all of Simon Snow. I've read all of Vampire Academy. I'm not gonna read Bloodlines. That's kind of past me. I've read all of the Illuminate files. I haven't read Dark Age, so I am not caught up with Red Rising, and it is ongoing because we have 2 more books. Pierce Brown is blessing us with 2 more books. Steelheart, I don't know if I'm going to keep Reckoners on my shelf, but I've only read Steelheart, and that series is complete. It's technically a shared universe, I guess, so we'll give it that as well. Dune, I'm not certain I'm going to continue Dune, but I guess we'll say series complete on, like, that I still have to read. In case I do, Skyward, I've only read Skyward. We have 1 more book in that coming out. These are all like novels, so they don't really have series to attach to them. I've never finished Shadow Song. I love Winter Song, but I've never finished Shadow Song, so I don't know if I'm going to. It's so disappointing compared to Winter Song, which is one of my favorite books. And then over here, oh, I haven't read Hellbent, so I think that's an ongoing series, so we're gonna say it is. Oh, there's Once Upon a Broken Heart. Remarked that, though. I think the last series on the shelf is The Lunar Chronicles, which I never read Winter. I read everything else. I just didn't read Winter. I would love to reread those because I enjoyed them a lot as a kid. 6. I've only read the Atlas 6, and that one is ongoing. I'm still in the middle of books I'm reading right now. I guess nothing in a series. Favorite books, I already did Winter Song. Anything that's not gonna appear elsewhere. The Something Something Universe by Alexis Hall. I think that's what they're called. I've only read Something Fabulous. There's at least 1 more book, Something Spectacular, and I'm still waiting on my copy. So I'm gonna say, I think it's ongoing. I'm not 100% certain, but we're gonna say ongoing. And then, oh, Anne of Green Gables. It is complete. I'm not done with it yet. That's been a huge project. As you know, Shadowhunters, I'm not caught up. I have been not struggling through Chain of Thorns, but like life has been struggling around me, so I haven't been able to like sit and enjoy it. So not caught up. But that series is complete, but the universe is ongoing because we have Wicked Powers. Bloodmarked, I'm caught up, but it is ongoing. And I think that's it for series in piles around my room. I don't have that many piles anymore, or at least nothing with series in them. So let us go to the final bookcase, which, not to brag, but I've like themed it, and for the most part it's queer, and I am so happy about it. It's my favorite shelf. It's my feature shelf. I love you all too. But that's my favorite shelf. Up there it's Shadowhunters. We already talked about that. Cool. And can you see my Farseer banner over there? I love it. It came in an Illumicrate box. It actually kind of gives like Grisha vibes, but they say it's a Farseer banner, and who am I to say nay to that? I love me the Farseers. Okay. Let's just do here. Perfect. So up top, and these are going to be double layered as well. So we have The Expanse. It is complete, but I'm in the middle of it still. I've only read the first 3. We'll go German today. The first 3, and I kind of want to reread them because I loved the first one and I loved the third one, both of them so much. Oh, Seven Devils. I haven't read that. Okay. The Empire Without End. I fucking loved The Stars Undying. One of my favorite books of last year. Just so good. I'm caught up, but it is ongoing. I believe it's going to be a trilogy. I love it. And the selling point, I didn't even see this until after I had like read it, because I actually picked it up thinking it was a different book that people online were talking about, because I didn't realize they were talking about an arc. And so I like picked this up thinking it was the same and fell in love with this book. It was so good. And then after I read it and I was looking at the dust jacket, it is a quote from Casey McQuiston, who said something like, "This book dares to ask, what if Mark Antony was the hottest butch girl in space?" And I was like, yes. Anyway, then we have the Wayfarer series, but I haven't started that. Murderbot. I've only read the first one. I love Murderbot, but I'm not finished. It is ongoing though, thank God for Martha Wells, right? Iron Widow, I'm caught up. That is ongoing. It's a duet, I think. And then Gideon the Ninth, The Locked Tomb, obviously caught up, and it is ongoing. So then down here, these are, oh, this is a series, but everything else is a standalone. Back there, Girls of Paper and Fire. I've only read the first one, so it is complete. And then The Unbroken. I've read The Unbroken, but I have not read The Faithless, I think it's called. I'm reading The Final Strife now, so I might have finished that. So we're gonna just say caught up, because my chances of finishing it by this time this video goes up are pretty high. A Strange, can you see now? Oh, okay. A Strange and Stubborn Endurance. I'm caught up. The next book comes out November, December. Oh, A Marvelous Light. I've only read A Marvelous Light and I really want to reread it. So anyway, I've not read A Restless Truth, but I'm not caught up. Also reading A Taste of Golden Iron right now. It's so good. I'm balancing a lot of books, which is like not great. Little Thieves. I actually just read this and I fucking loved it so much. I knew I was going to like it. It was great. It filled so much for me, but book 2 literally just came out, so I'm not caught up. I don't have my copy yet because I did Illumicrate. Silver Under Nightfall, another one of my absolute favorite books. I am caught up. It's just a duology and it's coming out next year. I thought it was coming out this year. It's coming out next year in April. Like, fuck that. Dowry of Blood is gonna be, well, it has a companion book coming out, but I don't actually know if it's just like thematically a companion or a companion, so I'm not gonna mark that anything. Oh, I don't actually know what that series is called. The Midnight Lie. That series, I've only read The Midnight Lie, so not caught up, and it's complete. Cemetery Boys is getting a sequel, but I am caught up because I've read Cemetery Boys. I've not finished the series either. I've read Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and I guess Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky several times each. Again, kind of like The Magicians, I'm like, I'm gonna read the next one, and then I just don't. I'm gonna talk about these stacks real quick because I almost forgot. I'll talk about one of the stacks because the other books are actually elsewhere on the shelf too. I'm complete with Empire of the Vampire. I'm caught up. You'll see why I made that like disappointed in myself face in a second when we go down. So let's do that. Ace of Shades. I read that one. It's complete, but I'm not caught up. It was a little disappointing, but I'm not gonna get rid of the books. If the second one is not good, I might, but it was just okay. I've read Juniper and Thorn, but not The Wolf and the Woodsman, and I do believe they are a shared universe, but they're both standalone, so I'm just gonna put that under shared universe. Ooh, this angle's fantastic. So the disappointed look I gave myself was because of these series. I'm actually not, I've never read Vengeful, even though I loved Vicious, so that's an ongoing series, but I'm not caught up. And I've never finished the Darker Shade of Magic series either. I'm going to say shared universe I'm still in the middle of because we have the new trilogy starting this year with Threads of Power, I think they're called. But I also am not done with the complete series, so nothing else on that shelf because I've either finished it, not started it, or it's not a series. Raven Boys I've finished, but I've still not read Grey Warren. I'm just so frightened to read it. I guess we can say shared universe and completed series I'm not done with. I haven't read any of these arcs, so it doesn't actually matter. So, let's look at stats. I'm pretty sure that's it. That's every series I'm in the middle of. That doesn't feel like as many as I thought it would be. That said, I am planning to do a unread books video like this at some point coming up, and that one is probably gonna hurt a bit more. So stats. Let's see. So completed series I'm in the middle of. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 29. That is a big number. That is a big number. Okay, well, completed series are probably easier to finish than non-completed series. No, that's a lie. Actually, probably catching up on series would probably be easier. Ongoing series I'm not caught up on. 17. So that would probably be the easier one to tackle first if I wanted to do this methodically. Because then I could be like, oh, I only have one book to catch up on or something. Okay, maybe while I'm editing this, I will go through and kind of keep a more in-depth track of which series are ongoing versus complete, and try to figure out what are like higher priorities. If I do, I'll insert like an editing Sam here thing, but that wasn't really the goal of this project. It was just kind of to see. But if I end up doing that, I'll let you know. Series that are ongoing, so I'm technically in the middle of, but I'm caught up on. 19. I feel pretty good about that. I don't mind, like I said, I don't mind being in the middle of series. If I enjoy it, then yay. And then shared universes. 12. Whoa, that's a bigger number than I thought, but I guess that tracks. Wow, okay. And then tried to start, but haven't really gotten 1. So we're not gonna count that one, but the total amount of series I am in the middle of is 77. That does feel like a lot. It does feel like a lot. Not a bad thing, just a lot. Well, there you have it. There I have it. It was fun. I enjoyed doing that. That was a good exercise. And like I said, I might do a manga video similar. That might just be something I have to like sit and think about personally. It may not actually be interesting content, but I do want to do a unread books on my shelves video at some point, which will be probably Blake, because that is something I want to stop doing, is like buying books and just not reading them. I'm okay if it's like in a series. Like I feel like that's forgivable because it's like, yes, I'm saving it. I already know I'm gonna like it. But yes, that's not this video though. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you liked this content, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. I hope if you are somewhere cold, you're staying warm. If you're somewhere warm, you're staying comfortable. And most of all, I hope you're reading a great book. I will see you guys next time. Bye.